Dan from a wet, dark and gloomy London. Hi Dutch, today I watched a Maven YouTube, trust me, Manchester's just as bad at the moment, YouTube episode where he talks about Wrestler's Court. This is Maven, the first Tough Enough winner. Maven said it was you who came up with the concept. Now, we're actually going to watch the video, so why don't we see what Maven said? 1 second. Okay, here's what Maven says about, oops, let's put the sound on, that'll help. Wrestler's Court.
First, I have to let you know exactly what is Wrestler's Court, and the only way to do that is to talk about how it started. Dutch Mantell, or for newer fans of WWE, Zeb Colter, started it years ago, back after the Bruiser Brody incident from Puerto Rico. For those of you not familiar with who Bruiser Brody was, he was a wrestler who was actually murdered in Puerto Rico after an altercation with either a booker or other wrestlers. And Dutch Mantell knew there had to be a better way for wrestlers to hash out disagreements, and thus bringing forth Wrestler's Court. In order to
Okay, right, so this is something, if true, I had no idea about, is that you invented Wrestler's Court in the wake of the Bruiser Brody murder in order to better hash out issues in the back. Is that true?
Well, no, the Bruiser Brody incident had nothing to do with Wrestler's Court, because Wrestler's Court is a tongue-in-cheek look at things if they have a disagreement backstage, because it should be funny. And if you have an issue that one guy don't want to put the other guy over, and they present their case to a judge, not a jury, just to a judge, and they'll rule on it in about 30 seconds, and therefore you're stuck with it. Because I came up with Wrestler's Court because I was a big fan of Judge Judy and Judge Mullion and, the judges, and they were good. So that's what we based it on. And once a judge ruled, it's over. You can't go back and go for a retrial.
What were the punishments for The Undertaker for romancing the ladies and turning up 4 seconds late? What were the punishments you'd give him?
Oh, he'd have to drive for a week or two.
You never drove anyway.
Yeah, well, I didn't drive anyway. But he never accepted the findings of the court, because I convicted him every week. We'd be on a trip to Louisville, and I say, okay, Wrestler's Court, ding, 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 ding. And whoever's in the car, I said, here's the defendant number one. And I just call it out, Mark Calloway. And he's been convicted or charged with romancing the rats. See, if you romance the rats, if you're too good to them, they said, you'll ruin the rats for everybody else. And and the rats, I never really called them the rats, because I didn't want to degrade them like that. So I always called them little ladies of the matches. Is what I call them. And then we would put him on trial, and he would try to do his own defense, which didn't work. Then I'd say, ding, and I'd hit the table. Okay, I've come to a verdict about 30 seconds into it, and that he is guilty as charged. Pay the court fees. Court fees would be about $50. I never got anything for that. But the best Wrestler's Court, when you got several people together on a team against this one guy, so they could all testify against him. And we've had that. It was like a kangaroo court, kind of, because I never remember the defendant winning anything. We always hung him with the charge, and you're guilty as charged. And
you're a hanging judge.
Yeah, I was a hanging judge. I hung them all.